Okay, it's January 8th, 2016. I'm talking with John Fitzgerald at Remo about the drum circle at NAMM coming up later in January. John, you're on.
My name is John Fitzgerald, and I'm the manager of recreational music activities at Remo Incorporated in Valencia, California.
Now tell us about the drum circle at NAMM. What is that about? What happens? How many people are involved? What's the effect of it? What is the takeaway that people have when they finish?
The NAMM Drum Circle started about 20 years ago, and it's rather a phenomenal experience. It's usually about 400 to 500 people, all playing hand drums and percussion. Many of these people have had no prior musical experience. They are part of the music industry, but they're also part of the general public because it's in an open public space. It's facilitated by Arthur Hull, who's considered to be the father of the drum circle facilitation movement and has been facilitating and training for 40 years or so. The effect is phenomenal. The energized nature of the experience, the connective nature of the experience makes it something that's very compelling. And I have now, after going to NAMM for many years, people coming up to me and saying, when is the drum circle? I want to make sure I schedule myself to be there.
Now, NAMM and Remo have a pretty long history. Goes back to before the drum circles. Talk a little bit about the relationship between NAMM and Remo.
Well, NAMM, originally named for, the acronym was National Association of Music Merchandisers. The acronym no longer holds. It actually is a global organization representing manufacturers, sellers of instruments, distributors, and so forth. Remo, the company, and Remo, the man, have been involved with the NAMM organization since the inception of Remo Incorporated in 1957. Interestingly, I believe that Remo, both the company and the man, have had great influence within that organization, as Remo has been in the forefront of utilizing music as a life-enhancing activity for its extra musical outcomes. Not just for the creation of a product, a performance, or a recording, but for the experience it affords the individual. NAMM, some years ago, began to feel that this is an important place for the industry to pay attention to. So in many ways, we have partnered with NAMM and still partner with NAMM on producing opportunities for people to become educated in this area.
The drum circle history itself, Remo, when did that start and why?
So drum circles are, I think, actually an extraordinary phenomenon. From a musical perspective, they're in the moment music making, and in their purest form, they're in the moment music making. There are no notes, there are no traditional patterns that must be played. It is really about creating the context for people to come together and express themselves rhythmically. We're all very intuitive rhythmic beings. Science tells us that the universe is in one way or another organized rhythmically, whether it's cycles of orbits or vibrations of molecules and so forth. Obviously, the diurnal nocturnal cycle is a big cycle we live in, and we live in a 365-day cycle. All of these are rhythms of one sort or another. The drum circle is unique in human culture from my perspective in that it doesn't rely on any particular tradition. Rhythmic music in Africa has deep tradition that's been held by each of these cultures. There are many cultures in Africa, as is other rhythmic music from other cultures around the world. I feel that this element of rhythm as an easy access point for music making is very powerful. It's very intuitive, and science has told us that the way we organize our thinking and our actions is largely rhythmic. It's part of the brain function. It's the way our neurology functions. Culturally speaking, music making has been around since the beginning of our culture, and there's a reason for that. It has an evolutionary value. It connects people. This is why armies march in time. This is why there are work songs to unify action. So it creates a connection that's powerful. And drumming and drum circles are so accessible and intuitive, no experience is required. You allow the beat to take you where you need to go. Add your joy, your rhythm, and your inspiration, and create a rhythmic stew that you get to cook with all your friends and neighbors. It's a wonderful experience, and I do hope you'll take an opportunity to avail yourself of it. So the contemporary drum circle is something that really began with the counterculture in the 1960s, and it's a unique phenomenon in human history in that it does not rely on any particular traditions. African music, Native American music, and so forth all have long traditions of specific rhythms that are necessary to be played for that music to be meaningful. In a drum circle, we all come in and we all express ourselves in the moment, in community, and create something new every single time. It is not a performance, it's a pure experience. Currently, what has happened is the drum circle, in its original form being an opportunity to celebrate and connect, has been utilized, that fundamental principles have been utilized to build programs that deliver wellness, curriculum integration, corporate team building, drug and alcohol intervention. Because there are opportunities for communities of any size, small or large, with any type of organization, to connect their members in a way that creates a sense of safety where people can be vulnerable, a celebration of the individual and unique value that each person is bringing to that experience, and the clear awareness that each person's contributions create something that is greater than the sum of the parts.
I think it was telling, you spoke earlier about a classroom situation where you're basically holding a drum circle for elementary school age kids. Mm-hmm. And talk a little bit about how they respond to the drum circle relative to adults.
Drum circles are used in every imaginable population at every age with every challenge and without challenge, of course. The setting with children, various ages, from preschool up to high school, there's a huge variation because of our ability to learn, focus, and concentrate. With very, very young kids, you do a short drum circle with lots of activities, because if you let go of the activities and don't focus them, they'll tend to go into what I would call a texture fest and become unrhythmic. It's very fun for them and it's still expressive. There are lots of opportunities to help them focus, however, and that is one of the things that drumming and rhythm does, is help promote a type of activity in our brains that helps us focus and concentrate. Those skills can be transferred to other parts of the learning day in a school. Older adults, or older kids, I should say, even in the upper grammar grades and into junior high and high school, have the capacity to ground very powerfully in rhythm. And they also get what it means to play together. Even at that age, when you ask them what happened in a drum circle, they won't necessarily say music first. They'll say, it was fun, I got to play my own part and be expressive, I felt really like we were all together. So these speak to the individual self-expression and the value of personal creativity and community and the power of our awareness as community. This transfers all the way up the age range into senior populations for which these types of activities are also used.
Now, if someone wants to get involved, how do they get involved with either NAMM, or if they're youngsters, NAMM has an age limit, 18 up. But for youngsters, if they wanted to get involved and start a drum circle or participate in a drum circle, how would they go about that?
Well, you find that if you just search the interweb for drum circles, you'll find lots of opportunities. Locally, in the Santa Clarita Valley, I'm not aware of any public circles. I do know that the Boys and Girls Club will be hosting a short training, an introductory training on drum circle facilitation in February, and you can contact them if you're interested. We want to train lots of facilitators in the Valley, so lots of different populations have opportunities. I would love to see a public circle that's accessible on a weekly or monthly basis. In the San Fernando Valley, Remo has a recreational music center, remormc.com if you're interested, and we host all kinds of activities. Free Tuesday night drum circle, Wednesday night lessons of various sorts, a Thursday night drum circle, a women's drum circle once a month, every weekend kids drum circles that are extremely popular on Saturday and Sunday mornings. If you want to experience the NAMM Drum Circle, it is open to the public. You do not have to enter NAMM. You can be 2.5 years old or 82.5 years old, and we welcome you. We bring over 400 instruments. We set up outside between the convention center and the Hilton, And all you have to do is come up the walkway and you'll hear us and join in.
I understand you have an elevator pitch. You're on.
Indeed I do. When I first meet people, sometimes to give a sense of the breadth and depth of this movement, this rhythm-making movement, I will say from Singapore to Bangalore, Norway to Chile, from age ranges prenatal to hospice care and beyond. People are using music and rhythm making in particular to enhance their lives.
So how do people find out more about Remo history and what's coming up?
Well, you can reach us at remo.com, and in particular for drum circles, you might want to click on Health Rhythms and Drum Circles. Those are two different parts of the site that will give you a lot of information about drum circles. You can also see us on the web at Facebook, just Remo, and YouTube, Remo Percussion, and on Twitter, at Remo Percussion. Hope to see you there.